So this is the what? 11th
The
installment?
11th, yeah, 11th,
Yeah, goes fast.
11 weeks.
Yes. Um, so what I wanted to share with you today is about the new balance library because it should make your life easier. I will share my screen. So this is in the brand new 1.18 update that is going live around now. So it's been approved by Apple and it's already on Android. I will walk you through all the news in this latest update, but first thing I wanted to show you is the balance library, which is now here. Let me just move the screen. So you have two ways to use the balance library. Either you are into an analysis and you can access it or save things on it, or you can just open it without opening an analysis first. And in this case, you will start with picking an existing list if you have one, or just starting to build a new library. So what is a library? It's just a collection of priorities that you might use often with different kind of customers, so that it's possible to load all these priorities at once for the type of customers that you work with. And another possibility is to create preset meditations. So either frequencies or meditations for any kind of specific actions that would not be subject to a scan. So you could launch these meditations, or you could send these meditations or these frequencies to your customers without them having to do a scan. So first use case, let's create a brand new library because you need to do something in a specific case. So you go to Balance Library, and you can either start with one of your existing libraries, or it could also be shared libraries, because when you save it, you can save it in public and share it with all the practitioners. Or you can just pick a priority. And this is a new way to navigate in all the biomarkers, which is very convenient because you can just pick a priorities and you see all the biomarker groups here. And you can directly go into, for instance, all the momentums. You have all them here, or all the main organs, or you even have the TCM receipts here now. So you can directly add them as priorities from this list without having to go to the different analysis screens. You can have all the acupuncture points. So this is in French, sorry. This is the acupuncture points, and then you have all the organ parts. So you can get the different vertebrae, for instance, the parts of the digestive system, the part of, I don't know, muscles. So this is the same information that we'll find in the organ maps, but here it's just the arborescence of main categories and subcategories. So if you are not into an analysis, you can just browse like that and you will get all the information, including the meditation lists. So let's say I want to start with some of my favorite elements in this meditation list. So I can just add them all like that. And I have the same priority screen here, but it is not linked to a specific client or a specific scan. It's just a list of priorities. This is why there is no flower. And I can still add things. So for instance, I want to do something, I don't know, let's go to the brain and neurotransmitters. And let's say we will work with some neurotransmitters. And let's go to the brain and say we will stimulate some parts, so visual cortex. And let's go to the eyes, for instance. Do you see the eyes? I don't see the eyes. Okay, bad example. Let's work on the ears. Okay, so I have now a list of list elements, organs. I could add, for instance, some chakras. Why not? Let's go to Ajna. and add some meridians. I don't know, let's say we'll add the heart meridian. So this is looking like this start to be looking like a priorities list that you would have after a scan, but it's not linked to a specific scan. So now you can save it as a new item. So either you click new here or you go to a subcategory, energy, for instance, and you can create it from priorities. So when you do that, you can just give it a title, something like energy work on my hearing. You put it into one of your categories. So it could be just for you, or it could be in one of the public categories, energy, body, and mind. And then you can review the priorities that you put in here, and you can just save it. So now I have this new list with 13 items that I can use with any customer. If I want to modify it, I can just click on this. Sorry, of course. Okay, I can just edit here. And maybe after all, I didn't want to include all of these ones, so I can just remove them like that by just clicking on it, or put them back by clicking again on it, okay, and save it again. If I want to add some new elements to an existing list, what I would do is first, I would remove all priorities. This is also a new function that allows you to clear the priorities list in one click. I would pick some new priorities. So let's go to, I don't know, meridians, and add some new meridians. And then I would go back to my library. I would edit it. And there is now here a button to add the current priorities. And so in one click, I will add all the priorities that are in my selection, but not in this list. And again, I could save it. Now it has 16 elements, okay? Now, where it gets interesting is that if I open any analysis, where I have a list of priorities, I can just go into this list of priorities, click on the plus, and, sorry, and so let's start again. This is the list of priorities that has been probably automatically detected by the software after a scan, and you want to modify it. So you click on the plus, and you can see the recommended priorities here that are computed by the analysis. Or you can, again, pick a specific priority. So you can choose to add something into the list that would fit you for this particular customer, whatever the evaluation of it is. So you can pick a specific TCM receipt, for instance, and add it like that, because you know it will be useful for this customer. Or you can go to your balance library and go to energy and say, okay, I want to add all of these elements in one click. I would click on all, and it would add all these priorities. So now I have 52 priorities. So I would add for this particular customer this set of priorities because I know it is something that I designed, or that someone I know designed and is public. And I know it will help him in his 21-day meditation journey. So what you will probably have in a few weeks is maybe 3 or 4 or 5 lists of things that you usually do in your practice, and the kind of organs you usually work with, or the kind of meridians or acupuncture points you usually work with. And you will name them after a specific kind of customers that you have, and you can add them in one click for this kind of customers. And so enhance their priority list and get a lot of priorities. Because right now I have 52 priorities, but I still have a 21-day meditation because these priorities will be cycled every day during the meditation so that it's not too long. So for instance, here I have more than 10 organs. So on day one will be played. On day 2, another one will be played. On day 3, another one will be played, and so on. So that each day the meditation is not too long. So you can actually have a very long list of priorities now. and follow the progression of all these priorities here. So when you go to your 21-day program, you will now see what happens for today. You will see the progression of every reevaluation that is done day by day. And this is the selection of today, but you can also choose to see all progressions of all elements, including the ones that I just added that will be reevaluated next time. If I am on a particular customer and I find this set of priority very interesting, in the same way, I can create a library from these priorities. So I could create in one click. For instance, I would call it customer type 1. Okay, doesn't mean, maybe it means something for you. And here I have the whole list of 52 priorities that is currently here. And maybe I don't want to include this one and all these ones for this customer type because this is specific for him, but I want to include all the rest. And maybe I don't want to include the receivers. So I just click on it and then I would save it to the library. And now I have a new list, which is a little bit less because I removed some of the priorities that is made from this recording. So when you have made a very good selection and you are very proud of your work and you say, okay, I know this selection could be useful for a lot of my customers, you can just save it in a click, discard the ones that are specific to him and just keep the ones that you would use for every customer and create something into your balance library. And then if you think this selection as is could be useful for everybody, you can say it's public. And if it's public, please put a description here so that everybody can understand your goal in creating this meditation. But as soon as it's public and you save it, it could be accessed by every practitioner. And in the future, it could be even accessed by end users if we decide to make this list accessible to everybody. So if you create a list that could be useful for everybody, we will add a new function here to say general public. And when you choose general public, it could then be evaluated by us and translated by us for the title and description. And it could be available for every customer here from the front page, because this will be a new function that will come in a next version very soon. That it will be possible to do 21-day meditations or 1-day meditations or 3-day meditations based on this balance libraries entries that could be useful for everybody and that will not need to have a scan done before you do these meditations. So what we will have in a few weeks is a collection of priorities in these balance libraries. And some of these collections would be accessible to the general public as a way to directly test the application without having a scanner, without having an Apple Watch, but just if you want to make a general meditation on some quite basic subjects that everybody need, like headache, I don't know, sore nose, things like that, or maybe some general psychological problems like a decision to take or something like that. So we are currently designing with Christine some general usage meditations. The goal is to have something like 5 different meditations in each of the 3 folders. So 5 for the body, 5 for energy. For energy, for instance, we will have a chakra balancing meditation that would use all of the chakras. And one option we will have is to say, okay, do you want to do that over 7 days? So 1 chakra per day, or you want to just have a longer meditation and do it all at once? But that would be the only option for the end user, or maybe for the designer. So that's the idea behind the balance catalog. For once, it can be used by you to store the priorities that you want to use often. And a second usage is to create these public meditations. And these public selections, so it could launch what we call now harmonic boost, which is the new name for the frequencies. So the harmonic boost is just when you launch the frequencies by themselves, and it gives you a quick boost. So if I share my screen again, this is the new name. Okay, so harmonic boost is the same as the former frequency page. And personal guidance is the new term for meditations, because I want to avoid the word meditation, because the word meditation is frightening for some people. Some people love it, and some people say, oh, okay, that's religious, or oh, that's frightening me. I don't know how to clear my mind. And because some people are afraid of meditation. So our decision was to go with personal guidance, which is what it is, in fact. So it's still the same thing. So this is still our meditations. This is still our frequencies. So when we will have the catalog here, we will have energy, body, and mind, and then a short selection of public things. And behind all of this public priorities list, you will have the button to do an harmonic boost, which will directly launch the frequencies, or the button to enter the personal guidance. And depending on the programs, it could be 1 day, it could be 3 days, it could be 7 days. But it will not be 21 days. 21 days will be exclusively for the personal scans.
Daniel has a question.
Yes, Daniel.
Well, it's not so much a question. I really think that this is a very good feature because one of my things is to start going to psychic fairs, wellness fairs, and stuff, right? And I'm using the Patrick Botti plasma balls, and the idea is like a fish tank, right, in a doctor's office. But if I do a scan for a person, on site, takes 30 seconds, we analyze it, and I'll have the plasma balls with me at my booth. And what I was going to do is, and I'm not maybe not saying this right, but pick the low hanging fruit, right? And then the plasma balls will just be there to grab people's attention, but there'll be a chair placed for anybody that wants to uh, sample their analysis. And then I would pick the low hanging fruit, and I like that harmonics thing because I can select the frequencies and then play that, and then also use that with the client to just give them a sample of something that they're gonna feel right away.
It's exactly the idea.
It's gonna grab them.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
The idea is that they can immediately taste what they could get, and then they would be they would really have the will to get a scan.
Yes.
And to get the scan, they would go to the product directory and get in touch with the practitioner directly within the app.
Yeah, that is such a great feature. Thank you, Medrick.
So under this use case, they would go like to harmonic boost and then go to like high attention or dispersed, probably, to get the greatest effects.
Yes, I think if it's pre-recorded things, it would be quite short. So I'm not sure yet how it will look, but the idea is that we will go live to the App Store and to the Play Store in the coming days with the first version, which we will not start to advertise yet, but at least we will be in the public App Store. So this is already approved with the latest version. So we have the finger on the start button. The idea is that when people come from nowhere on the App Store, or because they heard it in a video or they read about it in a blog, or I don't know what, and they go to the App Store, they must have something to do immediately. So this thing to do immediately would be to start with some pre-recorded items in this catalog, in this library. And they would go to energy or to body or to spirit, and they could immediately start some frequencies or immediately start personal guidance. And we will try to make it as simple as possible, of course. But it would also be a showcase for practitioners, because we will have this, for instance, 5 main items that would be open to everyone. And then we would have a list of all the items that would be created by all the practitioners around the world in these categories. And you could search these items by keyword or by or by practitioner. And under each item, you would find the practitioner description from the pro directory. So the idea is that if we have 1 million users coming to the App Store and not knowing any practitioner, they could try the app and say, oh, I feel it's doing something, but I want to do more, so I need a practitioner. And they would directly find a practitioner from within the app because they could engage with what the practitioner has to say in his bio and in the programs that he creates and maybe other things. So the idea is that we will provide the necessary tools to create a connection between any user and the professionals. That's the idea.
That's great. That's brilliant. And in the case like, say, David's case where he's at a trade show or a fair or something, and let's say he gives a free scan or extremely discounted, then for an immediate effect, that's when we would go under the maybe harmonic boost and look at the dispersed or the highest priority, right?
Yeah, exactly. The idea behind the name harmonic boost is it must be obvious that it's something that you launch to get immediately something, as you said, when you played with the frequencies and you felt immediately something and it boosted you. And that's the point. If we just call it frequencies, it's not very engaging. But I think harmonic boost, you really want to push on the button.
With this balance library functionality now, when I do a scan, do I get priorities calculated automatically by the algorithm, or
yes,
or do I have
it's for the scan. This balance library, library doesn't change the way the scan is done. But maybe, unless you have another question, Tino, maybe it's a good time to speak about the latest change in 1.18. Was that your question, Tino, or did you have some?
Yes, there was.
Yeah. Okay. So the priorities will still be evaluated by the algorithm, and you can add on top of what the algorithm says, you can add your own balance library priorities because this is your expertise. That's the point.
Okay, got it.
Okay. But it's interesting that you speak about priorities because now in the latest version, I totally changed the way to identify priorities. That came from user feedback that said they had often the same kind of priorities in different scans. And it was true because formerly the priorities came from notable energy, notable movement, which are items that you find here. For instance, if you are in the different meridians, when you go to energy, entropy, and coherence, my first approach was to take the priorities here. It means the most energetic and least energetic ones, the most agitated and most static ones, and the ones that were moving together. So this was a computation that we did for meridians, for points, for organs, etc. The new way of doing things is, we compute a resource score for every folder. So for instance, for organs, here we don't show all resources, but we will show you the 15 more interesting resources, which is actually very interesting in this resource page because we are looking for some very strong organs that we can rely on to give energy to the other ones. But of course, this is the first on 464, the second, the third, the fourth, etc. But if you could go all down the list, you would find the least energetic ones, the least potential resource. And if you reverse the logic, the least potential resource are the most important priorities because it's the one that can the least give energy to others and are the least well connected to others and so on. So this is what we did from this new 1.18 version, the priorities, the automatic selection in priorities. So let's say I will remove all priorities. and I will add the key priorities here. So this should be done automatically after a scan. Now you will get a little bit more information. So we put 8 organs, 3 meridians, 3 acupuncture points, 3 receipts, 3 chakras, drives, etc., etc. And we selected the organs in different families. So you will get something from the teeth, for instance, something from the senses, something for the chest, but you will not get 8 different teeth, for instance, because it wouldn't be very efficient to help you select things. So these are actually the least potent resources. So you will find the one in low energy or maybe high agitation or maybe less connected than other ones. But in our experiences, this leads to far more diverse results here in the priorities and more on point. So this is a new way to choose the priorities. But if you click on the plus here or on top, so let's say I want to explore if other organs could be interesting, I could just click on the plus here, which is exactly the same as if I click on the plus here on organs here. Okay. And now I will find the notable energy, notable movements that were previously automatically selected and that are now here available for you if you want to explore this. But, you know, for instance, I don't know if you noticed, but tears was something that was often in the results. And because this is something that is very often in notable movements, but I'm not sure it's so important to make it in the priorities for everybody. So you still will find them here, but it will not automatically be selected here because now we will only rely on the low resources score, which you had previously. You had a folder here which was low resource score, and you will find it again if I remove some and I go back to organs. And now I have it here because as things are done, if something is already in your priority, you will not find it here, okay? So if you remove it from your priorities, you will find them again here, and you can add them again here. And you get information here. So you also have some new information. So this is the curve. Maybe you noticed it. If you have several recordings, you now see the curve globally. And this is also the curve of the resource score. It means that if the curve goes up, it means that this element is going up in the resource score list. So this is a good sign. And you also have now direct access to the different meditation to the meditations, and you can, you know, in the settings page, you can choose 2 languages, the main language and the additional language. This is for the meditations. So my main language is English, so I can listen in English, and my second language is French, so I could also listen to it in French. So you can actually read the meditation text and see the emotional links and some descriptions and so on, and so decide if this element is actually correct for your customer or not. But Tino, to come back to you, the priorities now will be selected automatically from the low resources. So this is new, and this will be far more diverse as it was in the former versions.
Yeah, I just found it a bit confusing yesterday because I didn't got all the icons, but just the button to press. But it's clear now. Yeah.
Yes, I think there might be a bug in the 1.18 version where you start with that and you have to press on key priorities, but that will be fixed in the next version. So if it's empty, you just click on this and it will calculate, it will compute the priorities.
Yeah, that's what I had to do yesterday.
Yes, and same
if
you remove all priorities and you go to personal guide, you will find the same button here because the meditation is built on priorities. So you can also click here and directly get the result.
Okay. Good. It's clear now. Thank you.
Okay, so that was the big news for the latest version.
And also the voices as well. That's
yes,
pretty
yes.
cool.
We have new voices. So we recomputed the voices again. For the English version, it's version 3, and it's amazingly better than before. There is no German version. From today, you can listen to the meditations in German. And there is a new French version. And we were speaking with Tino about maybe doing the Spanish ones again or not. So this is an ongoing discussion, but it's possible. And we have new languages coming too. So what did we have in 1.18?
I'm clicking on the app right now, and so let you know the meridian points are in French, it looks like.
Yes, I also saw that it's maybe a bug. The list, the category list.
Yeah, the organ parts.
Yeah, I noticed.
Are English.
I noticed that earlier, so I will probably make another update. There were still some little annoying things like that, so I will do a new update probably.
This is exciting, though. I need to get to work here now.
About the small updates, you can now, I think, see the wands. What did I do? If you go on wands, you can click here and see the flower.
Very good. Wow.
Yeah. And you can also access the meditation that is linked to this particular wand. Please try the...
Could you explain that chart once, if you could go through that quick?
Yeah. So this is the 5 wands according to Lise Bourbeau and Periakos. And it is linked to, I found someone that made a link between some TCM elements, some TCM results, and these ones. So if you want to read it, this means, so the darker it is, the more important, the more active it is, the more energetic it is. So right now, abandonment and injustice must be the 2 most active ones. But you can see this arrow. It means that humiliation is nourishing abandonment somehow. So this is the direction of energy from one want to another one. So it could be interesting if with your customer, you say, okay, it seems your abandonment want is currently active, and it comes from a deeper humiliation. And if it resonates with him, maybe you want to just add them both like that to his meditation, and it will have something to think about during the personal guidance. Does that answer your question, TJ?
Yeah. Yep.
This is based on the 5 elements of TCM. So if you know TCM, you know that elements can nourish themselves or destroy themselves or insult themselves. So it's the same kind of relationship.
Right. I'm wondering if
I've
seen it on other pages. I'm not always seeing the arrows, and a lot of times there's only 2 of them.
Yes, because it's actually exactly the same as this one, influences, which is the 5 elements.
But then you're sticking the emotion in there when it's under there.
Yeah, because the link comes from here. There are some subtle difference, but because you see this one are not moving the same way, energetically speaking. But it's more or less coming from the same information. Under the news, the Bluetooth connection is much better, especially on iOS and Mac. It's working now on Android, but it's working-ish, so it will be improved in the next version. I'm not sure about Electron, so I have to test again. So if you have connection problems with Electron, please raise a ticket or just tell us. But this is currently under progress. So now with iOS, it will it will when you click on record, it will actually wake up the device, and the device will be blue before you know it. So the connection will be proactive and awakened by the app. And I think that's all for the news.
That's all in basically 1 week.
Yes. No, the big news is that we are going public on the App Store and the Play Store. Another news is that we actually have the same partnership ongoing with Samsung than we have with Apple. So we will have access to the Samsung Watch recording, which will be big news for Android users. And it seems that Samsung is a bit more open than Apple, and we would be able to make a specific Android Wear app that would allow us to do some live tests. So the same as we do with the sensor. If this is the case, I will then lobby Apple to do the same with Apple. But Apple didn't open their API to do some live recording. But I will try and pull some strings to do the same. That would be great. But that's a month-long endeavor. It will not be for next week.
Kat says, well done.
Yeah.
She loves the change in terminology as well.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very nice. Seems extremely useful. And she also has a question. Will we be keeping or replacing the word meditation in other places?
We will be replacing it, except Anthony is happy because connection works. Yes, Anthony, we did it just for you.
Yeah, just for you, Anthony.
Just for you and the soon to come 1 million users that I don't want to to bother with.
So happy.
No. It's important. And right now on Android, it's not working so well, but it will be soon working so well. But it's just a nightmare. But we will overcome it anyway. We will still speak about meditation in specific places, like for instance, when you open any biomarker, and oh, this is new also, by the way. So when you open a biomarker here. This is called meditation. It could be called personal guidance, but I don't know. Yeah, it's an open question. It could be called personal guidance, but it's also good. Maybe this could stay meditation. I don't know. What is sure is that is personal guide. Meditation text, why not? Because it's actually the text. Or maybe you want me to rename it to guidance text or something like that. It's an open discussion. I would, as much as possible, remove the meditation word at least from the main entries here, so that we would not frighten people that would be frightened by meditation. But in the end, it is what it is. It's a guided meditation. So maybe the word will stay at some places. If you have some feedback on it, just tell it or send me an email.
Question from Tina.
I have one question, yes. Well, I just wanted to make sure that, Frederick, you got my ticket. I had to open a ticket from the computer because on the Android, the menu on the right, on the top
yes,
right.
I got it, and I couldn't replicate it yet. So, but it's still open. Yes.
Okay, but there's two things. Then to fix it so that you can put a ticket from the mobile, and then the ticket I wanted to put is because I have the text of the meditation, but not the bursts, the frequencies. You know, when I do the meditation, it starts.
Yes, yeah. That's probably because your screen is going off.
You mean with the button to put a ticket?
There's we have a very difficult situation to address with the meditations because the meditations are currently processed live. It means that the voice is a recording, but everything apart from the voice is live generated. And it
Yeah.
could be only live generated if the screen is on, because as soon as the screen goes off, the system will kill the app, except for the pre-recorded audio, which is the voice.
Why? But it wasn't. I mean, I was looking at the screen and I got the text in there, and I was watching it, and it didn't went off. And it starts with that very first frequency tune, that very first turn, and then the voice starts to talk. The frequency fades, and at that point, you should expect to have the next frequency um, to start, but
Yeah.
nothing happened. And I could hear all the meditation text right till the end, but no frequencies at all, and the screen wouldn't fade.
Yeah,
I
I'll
don't
test
know.
it. I'll test it because maybe there was a problem on Android.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be nice to have it working on point.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But the ultimate solution would be to create a track, an audio track. But given the time it takes to create the audio track for the frequencies, for instance, it's not possible to create it for the meditations. So right now, I will stay with the solution of having the screen awaken at all time. But I know it will be a problem at one point. So. But generating the audio track is also very complicated. So right now the solution is not 100% perfect because we have to keep the screen on, but it's the only solution that we have.
And
Okay.
actually just to put that into context, like if you receive an audio message on iMessage, which is basically built into the Apple, which is built into iOS, if you lock your phone while you are listening to the audio, it cuts the audio. So, this is a thing that even Apple do to themselves.
Yes, but on the other hand, you can listen to Spotify all day with the screen off. And that's something I would like us to do, but in fact, it's technically extremely complicated and probably doable only if we generate the audio in advance, which is not the spirit that we have because everything is dynamically generated according to the state of the user. So, because at the end, what I would like to do is to measure the user during all the meditations and adapt the meditation in real time according to how he reacts. That's something that will come in a later version, not tomorrow again. But we could at least use HR rate or things like that to have some basic information. So not the sensor all the time, but with a watch, for instance, we could have live information exactly like during a workout and use this information to adapt the meditation and to make some parts quicker or longer according to how you react to the frequencies. So this is something that will come. And for that, we will definitely need to process all the audio in real time like we do today. And that's why I went with real-time audio. That's because at the end, the biofeedback will be constant during the whole meditation. So it will be measured in real time and adapted in real time. So what I guess is when you tell people to do a meditation, tell them to plug the phone because when it's plugged, it will not lose power and it will not shut the screen off. So the best is to have it plugged. And if there is a specific bug on Android, it's also a possibility. So I will test it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Just a question from me. With the new balance library, will there be an option for professionals to monetize the balancing that they create?
Yes, exactly like the lists.
Oh, so you can monetize.
Yeah.
So
So the idea is that if we do some public meditations, it could end up being something like a marketplace where you have lists of items. And if you particularly like what a specific professional is creating, you can access all of the pre-recorded meditations, so the balance libraries items that he have created, and you can just add them to your next meditations to do, for instance, and the app would present you with some next meditations, and there could be a payment for the creator, of course.
Yeah, cool. There we go.
Something maybe I've just overlooked this a little bit. Something I just want to stress about these meditations.
You can't say the word meditations anymore.
Yeah. Let me just share my screen again. When you go to the balance library and you want to pick a priority, you can pick things from the lists. And you can create custom meditations from the list. It means that if you go to the list and you create a new list, and you call it my custom meditations, and you say it's meditation, you create a new list, and now you create a new item, and you say a meditation for the trees, and you describe it. I want to embrace the nature and trees. Okay, and you magic write the meditation. It would suggest a text and so on. So you could create as many entries as you want for this, for any kind of meditation you want to do. Okay, I don't have the good license for it. No, okay, you have it. So let's say you want to create some balance library entries that would be connect with nature. You can create custom meditations like that, and you can just describe the different steps that you want to create in these public meditations. It will create some meditation text according to the prompts that we designed, so that it's in the same mood as every other meditation in the app. But you can, of course, modify it here. So this is an editable field, a modifiable field. And when you are happy with it, you can request an audio recording. So when you do that, we will receive a request and we will see the text, and we can generate the audio in all the languages that are available from the app. And when it's done, you can go back to your priorities, pick priorities here, and you will find here your new meditations, and you can add it. So let's say it's done and I add it like that. And you can pick other priorities because it will be good for your meditation to connect with nature. So for instance, you would go to chakra and you would add some specific chakras that would be good to connect with nature. And you would add, I don't know, some organs. Okay, let's say you want to work with the eyes. Not sure it's the best idea, but okay, let's do it. So you would create this, and you could add some all the meditations that you did in your list to connect with nature. So let's say you have done several meditations to connect with nature, just add them all like that. And so every day for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, this would be a 5-day meditation, because there are 5 elements here, okay? So this public meditation would be a 5-day meditation. On day 1, people would have 1 chakra, 1 organ, and the first one of your custom meditations. Day 2, they would have the same chakra, the same organ, because there was only 1. And the second one, day 3, the same chakra, the same organ, and the third one, etc. And this would be a public meditation that you would have created with specific texts that you would have created too. And this would be a meditation that would really come from you, because the texts and the intent of the meditation or the guidance, etc., would really come from you. So in this regard, you would be able to create some meditations that would be available to everybody in all languages with the same voice. And I think that's beautiful.
And then because you're actually able to edit the text, you can actually put the person's name in and make it much more personal to them.
Not for this one. Yes, if you do specific meditations, yes, but in this case, it would be meditations for the general public.
Okay, okay.
And you could invite people on it. It means the idea is that when people come on the free version, they would have access to the 15 meditations that we will do. But for the other ones, they would have to subscribe to at least play subscription, which is something like $10 a month. And they would have access to all the meditations that everybody created in public. And you would get a share of this profits, you as the creator. But you could invite your own customers on your meditations with an invitation code, and it would unlock one or all the meditations that you created yourself. So the use case for that is you could sell an access to your own meditations to your customers and give them, so you take the money directly and you give them an invitation code, and they could use it through the app directly without subscribing. So it's another use case. Okay.
Any more questions?
This is not a question. Thank you, everyone, Medric. That was a very informative training session. I need to go now. My crew's here, and I got to start assigning people. So
Anyway,
thank you, everyone. Have an abundant day.
Yeah.
And Anthony, I need to be in touch with you to get some more sensors. I'll give you a call. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Pat wants to know, are there any invitation codes currently available for anything?
What?
She wants to know, you were just talking about sending out invitation codes. She wants to know,
okay, that's a good question. So what are invitation codes for? There are several use cases that you can use the invitation codes. So just let me check everything you can do with an invitation. So the first use case, of course, is the one that we gave you one month free test. But you can generate invitation codes to get commissions. So it's an affiliation code. So it means that you can give an invitation code to someone and he will get some free things, like, for instance, a free report. So unlock a free report. And for that, you can generate an invitation code from our website. It's not currently a public zone, but it will be at one point. So if you want to generate some affiliation codes, just get in touch with Steven that can show you how to do that. When you have your invitation code, you can generate different invitation codes. And so, for instance, you would generate one invitation code that you would use on Instagram, and another invitation code that you would use on your YouTube videos, and another invitation code that you would use on your blog. And you could distribute these invitation codes and tell people to install the app and to enter the invitation code to get the perk. And the perk would be, for instance, one free report. But when they enter this invitation code, if they start subscribing to something, you will get a percentage of the sales. So it's an affiliation code. So this is one usage of the invitation code. Another usage would be to invite someone to read a particular report, or to invite someone to access a particular balance library, or to invite someone to access a particular list that is not yet public. So for that, you can generate invitation code directly from within the app and share this copy this invitation code and send it to another user. So for instance, if you are doing a meditation list and it's not yet public, but you want someone to test it, you can make it unregistered. And in this case, you have an invitation code that is displayed directly in the app. And you can send it this invitation code. When your contact enters the invitation, it will download your list. What can you do with an invitation code? That's the most you can do with invitation codes, I think.
That says, gotcha, thanks.
But that's more for Anthony. If a distributor has licenses in inventory, you as a distributor, you will get a list of invitation codes that would unlock specific licenses. So if you buy as a distributor, for instance, a pack of 20 licenses, you will receive 20 invitation codes that you have to send individually to your customers so that it will transfer the license to them. So it's a way to get some license in inventory in advance and to be able to immediately unlock a license when you do a license sale. It also goes through an invitation code. What else?
So basically, if a person, if one of our users has an affiliation code that they send to somebody and they convert into a me monthly, they'll get a percentage of that. Or if the person decides to take the full professional lifetime license, they'll get a percentage of that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really, really good deal. Sorry, more questions from Kat here.
No, I think she says she need to go in touch with you so that you can show her the affiliation zone. It's not really live because we are not really public, but we are going public in the coming days. So as soon as we all say, okay, this version is good enough to be in public, we will start with invitation codes and so on.
Well, it looks as though Anthony's happy with the Bluetooth connection. So
if Anthony is happy, I'm happy with Anthony. Okay, cool. I will stop the recording now, unless you have some very interesting questions again. So see you next week.